Good evening, my lovelies. Welcome. I'm Lady Creepypasta. I hope you are spending a well-rested Labor Day, if you are in the part of the world that celebrates it today. Otherwise, I hope the beginning of the week has started off well for you. Today we have a story from Creepypasta Wiki entitled Fetu. I think it's time for us to jump right into it, shall we? Come now, my dears. Lean in closer, and we'll begin. I'm a surgeon. Now, I've seen my fair share of strange medical events, but one event that I saw still haunts me to this day. In the fall of 1987, an extremely rare medical anomaly affected a poor 7-year-old child by the name of William. I was working as head surgeon in the small town of Montrose, Colorado. William had been going to his pediatrician complaining of extreme pains coming from his belly. He told doctors he had a man living inside of him who refused to leave him alone day or night. He said he would hurt him in random places, as if he was pulling on marionette strings. He could be seen cringing and crying in the doctor's office, pleading for an ease to the excruciating pain. His mother was extremely worried and demanded assistance. The doctor did a full examination of him and found nothing wrong. He promptly told his mother to take him home and prescribed strong painkillers. A few weeks passed, with the boy's pain worsening. The doctor was baffled. He continued to find nothing wrong, prescribing stronger and stronger painkillers. One day, the mother returned, this time frantic. She came in screaming that her son was dying and that he was bleeding profusely. William was seen having blood dripping from his mouth, crawling on all fours, begging the doctors to kill him. Horrified, they sent him to the hospital. That's when he came to our medical team. The doctors determined he had a very large tumor in his torso after x-rays had revealed a strange formation in his visceral cavity. We prepped for surgery immediately. Me and my team quickly donned our medical masks and scrubs and wheeled him hurriedly down the hallways of our hospital. We passed hurriedly as the boy yelled at us to slit his throat. We placed an anesthesia mask on him while he squirmed and demanded death to take him. His head swung back and forth like he was shaking constantly. It shook so fast, we had to have 2 doctors hold him down. He slowed and closed his eyes only when the medicine took hold. We wheeled him into the operating room and tore off his Spider-Man shirt. I took my scalpel and sliced into his torso. The thin skin flayed open and blood flowed quickly, revealing veins and mucus. I heard a squishing noise from within the dark maw I had created. We placed clamps on his incision, and just as we were about to pull it open, we saw it. From right under his crimson abdominal muscles, an arm burst through. The flesh stretched and then tore open. It splayed bits of flesh and blood on our faces and clothes. We all gasped, frozen with shock. The arm was small and frail, red and sticky with blood. It rested on his scarred entrails. I stood there, mouth agape. My breath was captured halfway in between my throat and lungs. I shakily took my scalpel and cut open the wound further. It revealed a mass of flesh. I peeked inside the wet mass of pink and red and saw a curled body, and I knew it was an infant. I placed my hands around its soft, scarlet surface and attempted to remove it. It whirled around in my hands and stared up at me. I picked it up and held it above the poor boy's body. The body was completely scarlet with blood, which had soaked into every nook and cranny of the embryo. It had squinted eyes lacking pupils, and its mouth was pursed tightly. Its body was in a cradling position. It didn't look like a child, but an alien. What was even more surprising was the fact that it had no umbilical cord. The doctors attending to his bodily functions backed away in horror. I stuttered and was unable to speak. I swear, I'm not lying about what happened next. The infant looked at me with its eyes and began to open its mouth. It gurgled and blood overflowed from its mouth, little bubbles forming a red foam. It then began to speak. Its voice was what I can only describe as sinister, pure evil in its greatest form. The child fiercely squealed, "Kill! Kill! Kill!" My eyes widened, and I was petrified. Doctors ran from the room in utter trepidation. One shouted that there was a demon child in the operating room. The child remained in my hands, getting louder and louder, repeating the same word over and over again, shaking with force from pushing air out to scream. I finally lost it and dropped the child onto the floor. It thudded on the tiled floor with a sickening crack. Blood splattered. And then, out of nowhere, the infant stood. It turned to me, its silhouette forming from the examining lights. It didn't speak, but I knew it wanted me dead. It crawled to the window and fled. Police burst into the room and found me alone. I was still. My hands were bathed in blood. Red tracks led outside and disappeared. As for William, his heart monitor flatlined and he was pronounced dead from blood loss. An investigation was posed and it was found that the child had a rare condition called fetus in fetu. It is when, during a pregnancy, twins are procreated and one gets enveloped by the other, becoming a parasite. But they will never be able to explain why the fetus talked or how it was able to speak. Whatever it wasn't human. And as for the whereabouts of the demon baby, that has never been determined. What did you think of that tale, my dears? If you're watching on YouTube, leave me a comment below, and if you enjoyed this tale, give it a thumbs up as well. If you're listening on the podcast, leave me a message on social media. I am Lady Creepypasta on both Facebook and Twitter. If you are new to my realm, welcome, my dears. Feel free to have a look around, but be sure to hit subscribe before you leave to get notified of new uploads. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that bell icon as well. That's all I have for you this evening, my dears. Till next time, sweet dreams.